against the Paarl Royals. Well, the Sunday papers have been buzzing about the success of this tournament, and right now, let's get underway with the toss and Mike Hazeman out in the middle.
We have got a very hot and warm day here in Durban. It's very humid as well. I've got all the important gentlemen alongside me, including David Miller, of course. And I've also got President Naidu, who's a representative for 1xBet, has joined us at the toss. President, welcome. Also, Zama Undamani, thank you, match referee. Hopefully you're going to be nice and quiet throughout the day. And David and Quinny. Righto, guys, let's go. Quinton, you got the coin.
Heads is a call.
A very soft toss from Quinton.
And it's tails.
It is tails. Righto. Yes, you won the toss. You come towards me. Thank you, Quinton. You said you're going to bat first. Why?
Just speaking to the guys who've played quite often, they say in a day game, usually it's a good toss to win and you want to bat first. So they say it does get a bit slower. So that's probably the main reason.
Now, you guys have come off both teams, in fact, have won your last game. You yourself, your form was very good, putting a couple on the road in the first game as well. What in particular do you want to make sure you guys get right today as captain?
I think just assessing the conditions. Obviously, this is our first day game on this wicket, so I think just assessing the conditions and just play accordingly.
And what about the combination of your lineup today?
We only had one change. Hardesfield misses out and Simon Harm will come into the picture.
Okay. Now what about this tournament? It's a day game, it's hot, you get good support the other night. How great is it for you to come here and get the support from this crowd?
Yeah, obviously it's great to have the Durban guys around. You know, obviously there's been big crowds everywhere and everyone's had a lot of support from their home teams. I've seen today, even though it's extremely hot out here, but everyone's come out here to support us.
Okay, good luck.
Cheers.
Thanks, Quinny. Righto, David. I guess for starters, it's a little bit strange for you to come back here as the opposition.
Yeah, it is a little bit strange growing up here and playing all my cricket here, but it's always good to be back in Durban and nice to have some sun for a change.
Let's. In fact, there's been quite a few T20 games of late that have been washed out, but it's almost in the middle, winning or batting first or second doesn't really matter too much as per the record say of late. What about your combination? What have you gone with?
We're going to stick with three seam and three spin. Shamsi's missing out tonight or this afternoon, and Imran Manik is coming in. And
can you confirm that he did that hamstring mid-celebration?
Yeah, he's definitely done that in the celebration, so he couldn't pull out a cell phone that time, but hopefully in the next couple of games he can bring out the cell phone. What
do you say is the strength of your team?
We've got some match winners all the way through, so it's just about really putting it together on the day. We've got some really good spin. I mean, it's cliche, but we've got a great balance. I feel we've got some good variation on our pace, and then some big hitters in the middle. So if we can put it all together like the previous game, then we'll be pretty happy afterwards.
And had you won the toss, what were you going to do?
We were going to bat first as well, but happy to lose the toss for the third time in a row, so hopefully the next one I can win.
Righto, good luck, enjoy it.
Thanks, Hazy, thank you.
All right, so the news in the middle is that the Super Giants have won the toss and they're going to bat first. Righto, let me go and have a chat to Sean. Sean, you've been at it for a while, pacing up and down. You're a little bit concerned with the surface in the first game. What's your assessment of this one?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much what the captains have said. I think it's going to be pretty slow and it's probably going to get slower. With this heat that bakes on it, it almost makes it a little bit sticky, and that's what the ball just gets stuck and holds and purchases. So both teams have really got some good spinners. They'll use this to great effect. But I think with the roll, even with the roll for the second innings, it's not going to come on any better. I think it probably will get slower. So you're looking at about a 150, 160 as probably being competitive.
Now what about the seamers? Put your mind to your job when you used to play. If you were playing on this one, what would you be looking to do?
Well, I think you're still going to try and use that new ball. That's the one part of the game that you've got to your advantage. So try and get it to swing, see if there's anything in it. But sooner rather than later, the guys will be going to the cutters. You can't get away from it. Someone like a Lungi will be definitely using it as well as he possibly can and getting in earlier rather than later. It's one of those surfaces where you want to get a test drive of that slower ball to see if it grips, and then once you've worked out if it's a good ball to go to, you stick with that for most of the day.
And just looking around the outfield, I mean, it looks nice and pacey because of the heat we've had.
Yeah, I mean, the grass is green. It's actually amazing to have a look at the strip they played on the other night. It's so green. You know, the grass has come back up with this heat that they've had and the water and everything like that. So it's looking a picture. It really is looking good. And it's probably not as fast as some as the outfields, but you're still going to get value for your shots.
Sean, thanks very much.
All good.
Righto, so let's go upstairs now to Pommy and Bangwa. He's got more for us.
Yeah, thanks, Hayes. And look outside and it looks rather wonderful. As hot as it is, it'll be tough for those who are out there today. Look at the teams, and now let's go through this Durban Supergiants side. Mayers up at the top does both, you know, open the batting, open the bowling, a bit like in high school. And he did a good job in the previous game. Quinton de Kock and him to combine and give them a start. A lovely batting lineup with all-rounders in the middle. And here, importantly, it's the spin that's hold things for them. Herschel Gibbs is alongside. Herschel, a look at the other side as well, the Paarl Royals team, and your thoughts on what they bring.
Yeah, good afternoon, Palmer. I think we'll be a lot happier in this particular camp after the convincing win against Joburg Super Kings a few days ago. You got some experience there, Butler, Roy, Villas, David Miller, lots of firepower. They only needed to chase down 80-odd previous games, but then the bowling lineup as well. Bjorn Fontaine was fantastic. They've all hit they started hitting their straps, and I think it's overall quite a happy camp going into this game today.
Yep, two happy camps, I think, because both started off losing the first game and then won the second, and so kind of back on track. It kind of comes thick and fast in terms of the games, so have to try and get on some sort of roll. Let's get downstairs now. Cass, how you going?
Yeah, hold it.
Yeah, Pommy, it's absolutely baking out here. A bit of a cool breeze that's cooling down Darren Sammy, but he has been vibing to the music, and you've been doing that throughout this tournament. You're enjoying the vibe out here despite the heat.
Yeah, that's my coping mechanism. Get the rhythm going, you know, all different type of dances here in South Africa. I heard there's something called pointing. I got to learn it, but yeah, it's a beautiful day here, and we are in for a great contest. Two good teams coming off victories, and yeah, they got some great players on display.
Sean Pollock made a good point at the pitch report. He spoke about that new ball, how to use it. You've been impressed with the return of Lungi Ngidi.
Yes, look, to have him back in the squad, because the new ball, you set up the game for your for your captain. With Ngidi and beyond, 14, what they bring control. And from control, you build pressure, you get wickets. We saw them getting wickets against the Super Kings. And he just sets the tone up for David Miller, and he's applied pressure, and they've been able to get wickets in the power play. But he's gonna come against a very good opening combination of Kyle Mayers and Quinton de Kock. So it's gonna be poised for a good contest. The ball coming into Mayers, left arm spin, but Beyond is a very cunning bowler. So we'll wait to see how it turns out.
Yeah, the action has been coming thick and fast, as we mentioned. Both these teams, of course, are coming off impressive wins. We mentioned the Paarl Royals, of course, beating the Joburg Super Kings, and then, of course, Durban Supergiants heading off to Cape Town to beat the MI Cape Town. So both teams looking 4 versus 3, of course, on the log, looking to just bump this up and pick up a vital win in a day game here in Durban. So just recapping yesterday's the last 2 results, of course, as we mentioned, and Durban Supergiants will be looking to see if they can make it 2-2, because sitting at 4th position, they could really pip Paarl Royals and head off into the top 3.
Yes, especially playing at home, you know, and look, I've loved the way Kyle Mayers have gone. What a year he's had, opening the batting, opening the bowling. If they could withstand the opening attack of Ngidi and Bug, they could win here and put themselves in a good position, gathering momentum. T20 cricket is about gathering momentum. It doesn't matter how you start, but once you get that win and you put a combination together that works, where you could play throughout the tournament and get some points on the board.
Well, Darren Sammy talks about momentum. The momentum in terms of crowds. I cannot tell you what this means to South African cricket, to see full stadiums around the country for a domestic T20 cricket league. Keep coming in, or keep your eyes locked onto SuperSport. Take a short break and be back with you after this.
Starting from less than 300 Rand per month, you can get Dotsure's extended car warranty that covers up to 400,000 Rand in parts. Visit dotsure.co.za today.
What's the Carabao? It's 92 Premier League and EFL teams battling it out over 7 rounds. It's more pressure for them, glory for us, even though all knockout roads lead to Wembley for the final. The Carabao Cup, definitely a different kind of knockout. Experience all the action live on SuperSport, your world of champions.
This is a big stage and he's not shrinking.
I need something.
It's about how you measure up in the pursuit of greatness.
It's always impressive to watch these guys perform under pressure.
I need something stronger, something to wake me up, something to open my eyes, something to make me feel like I will be stronger. I want to leap into flight, I want to cut through the sky, can't wait much longer. I need something.
It's the persistent grind in a journey to the top, where honor and respect provide the ultimate reward.
This guy wants to win badly.
Oh, McElroy's done it!
I need something stronger.
There is no place like it.
How about that?
This is about growing legacies. The PGA Tour on your world of champions. SuperSport. Stay connected to DSTV Premium.
Durban Super Giants hosting the Paarl Royals in Durban in an exciting Betway SA20 encounter. Quinton de Kock winning the toss earlier and deciding that his team will bat first in this day match. Commentary in the crowd has become a big hit in the Betway SA20. Let's see who has the honor of being out there today. Mike Haseman, who are you alongside with?
Hello, Kaz. Yeah, I've got Chris Morris alongside me. Chris, thanks for joining us. Now, before we get into a player or two, what are your views about both sides wanting to bat first here?
Yeah, it makes sense. We know, as Polly said, that it tends to slow up during the day. It's a very, very hot day in Durban, and I don't know if the sun bakes down in Durban, yeah, it tends to slow down, and spinners are definitely going to come into play.
So how much of an advantage will it be batting first?
I think it would be, because you get the use of the surface, the best part of the surface early doors, and New Rock early doors, and it should fly.
Right, let's talk about a couple of players. I know you want to specifically talk about one or two. Dwayne Pretorius?
Absolutely. We know, look, we've seen what Dwayne can do in the past. Dwayne's the premier all-rounder alongside Jason Holder. His batting, we know what he can do. He's hit some out the park, but I think he'd be very disappointed in the way he's gone with his execution. He's known around the world, in South Africa, but also around the world in landing his execution of wide Yorkers and setting the right field for it. But he'll want to improve on that. He's the designated death bowler in this team, and that's where this Durban's Super Giants team has been lacking. They've been lacking in the death bowling, and that's where they lost that game against JSK. So, he'll be wanting to improve on that. He's got the experience, he's got the talent, and he's got to know how to do it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he fixes that in this game.
And that pinch hitting role was pretty important for him as well. Should have done that earlier the other game.
Possibly. I mean, I'm never going to go against a coach's decision, but the way he hit it that night...
Well, you changed.
I was always a good guy. No, the way, obviously, he showed that night what he's capable of doing with hitting it at the death. So maybe he could have come in earlier, but who's to say the person that went in front of him couldn't have won it for them?
Right, there's Dwayne. What else you got?
So obviously we spoke about Jason Holder. Jason's in the same role. He's also been given that designated death bowling role, which is probably not accustomed to as often as he would like to, but he did it a little bit in the RPL, comes around the wicket, bowls wide Yorkers, bowls straight Yorkers, got a very good slower ball, and I think to his standards he's also been a little bit disappointed the way he's gone in this tournament so far, but He's an experienced cricketer. He's a genuinely good all-rounder, and you know he'll come good at some, not some stage. I'm sure he'll come good very soon because the experience that he's got, he knows how to fix things, and yeah, serious player.
And just talk about Jason as an individual. I mean, how good is it to have someone like that involved in the change room with some young players?
Oh, geez, he's a former Test captain. I mean, he's played all around the world for the West Indies. He's played in a lot of leagues. The man's experienced, and he's an all-rounder, so he gives you a bit of advice on both sides of the game. But he's calm, genuine West Indian man. He's relaxed, chilled, and all in all, just a really good cricketer and good guy to have in the change room.
And how much do you think his game has evolved when he's been able to play more T20, IPL of course, and not being captain of the West Indies?
Well, look, in terms of that, I think his batting and white ball cricket has obviously improved quite a lot. He's got quite a few Test hundreds. I think he's got a Test double hundred. So the man can definitely play in Test cricket, but to come from Test cricket and come doing it in one-day cricket, he's got the power game. He's a very tall man. He hits it a long way once he catches it, and as you can see, that's a hot day, but he's genuinely plays all around the ground, which I like. He even gets down to lap every now and then, believe it or not, for a tall man, but he uses the field well, hits angles, and it's even the arc. He's going to smash it out of the park, as they say.
Righto. Okay, Chris, thanks so much for your thoughts. It's going to be a terrific game. It certainly is very warm, and good to see a lot of the crowd coming in, which is nice also. So this is going to be festive. They've all been festive so far. We're going to go back to Kaz. Kaz, take it away.
Hey, thanks very much. I've got a West Indian next to me, but he's not calm and he's not measured. He's in party mode because he wants to see some catches taken in the crowd today, don't you?
Oh, yes. I loved back in Pretoria. You know, the fans, they came out and woo, they were thoroughly entertained. You saw free catches, you know, and I expect the Durban crowd here to have another day of catching. It started right here. Don't forget, it started right here. The first catch, Betway Catch a Million, was right here, and it's been infecting all around the country. So hopefully the fans get to a couple opportunities to get a couple catches.
Well, let's hear more from both camps now. Early on, Mike Hazeman caught up with the Durban Super Giants and the Paarl Royals.
Kesh, thanks for the chat. Senior pro, of course, these days in this franchise. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I'm still young and not as experienced as some of the younger lads in the team. But yeah, I think from local conditions point of view, the guys see me as one of the senior pros in the team.
So how does that role change? I mean, how much advice do you give to some of the boys around the place, particularly overseas boys?
Yeah, look, I think a lot of them have played in various conditions out the world, similar to the conditions we faced here today. So, yeah, look, if I can add 1% in terms of the information that I'm giving to, then I try and add my value.
What are you expecting? I know you look at the tracks very closely. What are you expecting with the surface today?
Yeah, look, it looks like a good wicket. It might be a little bit slow as the game goes on because of the heat out here. But, look, I think it's generally a good cricket wicket here in terms of white ball cricket here at Kingsmead.
Evan, thanks for your time. Gee, what a performance. You've got to be pleased with that last one, 3 for 21.
Yeah, I think if you gave me that the night before, I would have definitely grabbed it with both hands. But yeah, nice to get the opportunity to make my debut for such a nice franchise. Yeah, very pleased with that performance.
The other thing also, it's important when you do get the ball in your hand to get the right guys out. It was a pretty good start for Ferreira, right?
Yeah, I think the previous game we saw the Kings were 20 for 4 or something in the power play, and then Don came in and absolutely smashed it around. So I think he was a massive wicket going into the middle period. So they couldn't set it up towards the end. So I think that was a crucial wicket, definitely.
What's your strength?
Bowling wise. Yeah, I think still learning a lot of, that's why this tournaments are so crucial. I think learning from guys like Lungi, those kind of people, because I'm also pretty new at also identifying what I'm strong at, but I think picking up wickets in the middle period, hopefully, so people or teams can't finish strong. I think that's definitely an area I would look to improve.
Great to hear from the players. The Betway SA20 building up nicely, some good performances coming through. Of course, Ollie Stone right up top, but someone we want to talk about is Bjorn Fortuin, who took 3 for 16 in 4 overs in Paarl the other day. A key player for the Paarl Royals. I would like to know from Darren Sammy, though. Darren, how do you think he'll go on this surface here at Kingsmead?
Yeah, well, look, his quality. He brings that control at the top of the inning to the captain. Doesn't give away too many runs. He attacks the stumps, wicket to wicket, and it doesn't give you too much options to go down the ground. As you could see here, batsman trying to go down the ground, but he's quite sharp. But he poses he has a different challenge on his hands. He's bowling against two left-handers who are very good against left-arm spin. Quinton de Kock don't really let left-arm spin settle, and we all know how Kyle Mayers goes after the bowling. His character will be tested today, but he's a quality bowler, and if he could get one of the left-handers out, so a right-hander could come in at number 3, he could pose a challenge to the Durban's Super Giants.
A good total here for the Durban Super Giants.
I think after they saw the Super Kings put 190 on the board the other day, I think they would be looking for anything above 175.
Well, we're looking forward to a fantastic encounter here. The crowd has been coming in since over 2 hours ago. The gates weren't even open, and they were heading into Kingsmead. So, Durban Super Giants at home in front of the Super Fam. Can they make it 2 wins in 2? Or will the Paarl Royals continue the momentum they gathered at home against the Joburg's Super Kings? South Africa's newest cricket tournament is taking the world by storm. Great action coming your way now, live on SuperSport.
What does it take to be an all-electric motorsport?
Evans cuts across. There's a crunch of carbon fiber.
And here we are, fastest growing motorsport in the world.
You really have to be ready for anything.
Van is the world champion.
SuperSports commentators for the Betway SA20 have every inch of the outfield covered. Steaming in from around the wicket is the always entertaining Polly.
What about that?
While manning mid-off, we have the perceptive Polly.
Exactly where he needs to be.
There's KP at silly mid-on as Cass does duty at extra cover.
Gun bowling attack, probably the best in the world.
Zinab, Uruj, Dazzler and the insightful Mr. Sammy at the international spice on the boundary.
A couple of new faces, so plenty to look forward to.
While Hirsch, AB, Chris, Big Vern, Ashwell and Bouch add some more pointed player perspective.
It makes for very good entertainment.
Venerable veterans Mark Nicholas and Hazy form a slip cordon that can't be beaten.
The man who makes things happen.
In a squad of star voices to add something extra to your viewing experience. For all the expert opinion, banter and brilliance, tune into our truly exceptional cricket commentary on your World of Champions, SuperSport.
Time for fun, time to entertain. Should be a good one.
Sia Khaleesi.
Khaleesi's rise from poverty to become the first black Springbok captain has brought with it heroic status.
When the opportunity came, he was ready.
With Sia being captain, it had a huge meaning for South Africa, for black people.
I am so proud of you.
Make us hungry, happy. We want to say we love you, Sia.
As a black captain for the first time led the Springboks, 28-year-old Sia Khaleesi rose to the peak of a sport long associated with apartheid.
It was quite tough. I was quite tough.
Babizebo, guess it calling it is keep on DSTV Compact.
It's modern art. Serie A, live and in HD, only on SuperSport on DSTV.
wonderful pictures. Those are of the surrounds. We're in Durban, and it's the Durban's Super Giants playing against the Paarl Royals. It's match 8 of the Betway SA20. It's a hot day. It's been hot days all the way through. We like it just like that, by the way. Rather hot than cold. And the tournament itself has been pretty hot.